who's the strategist for Canadian LNG data?
I love that question. Thank you so much for asking it. So let me just paint a picture. If we were to look at all the gas consumption scenarios from all of your research house insights, like BNEF, you look at the IEA, you look at ExxonMobil's energy outlook, Rochelle's, everybody does agree, okay, gas consumption in buildings, flat, reducing a little bit. Gas consumption in industry, yeah, it's going to grow because you're going to be replacing coal with heat, you're going to use it for petrochemicals. Gas in transport is one that also very consistently is a growth factor in all of these scenarios. Where they diverge the most is actually in the power sector. Some go like this, some go like this, depending on your view of the power sector. So that's why I love this question, because I see gas and LNG playing a huge role in transport. Yes, in, again, absolute terms it might be small compared to consumption in industry and power, but there are almost very, very, very few other cost-competitive replacements for the shipping industry. So LNG bunkering is something I see tremendous potential with, and I'm less confident about green molecules because that requires an entire infrastructure update. Also, I am very hopeful with gas's role to provide peaking services. So this is actually, smaller liquefaction facilities across the country that can store gas and liquefied LNG and can actually be turned on immediately. You really actually help the volatility in your prices as well, because if you're pulling from the pipelines, which are already congested to a degree, you add so much volatility. But if you can actually liquefy it and strategically store it throughout the country when you have a cold winter, whether it be in Ontario or wherever, and it actually starts to impact BC's prices, you have that flexibility. So I think this is kind of where I come back to domestic consumption of it as well, together with exports. It's a whole recipe that I think actually just works really well together. Ensuring domestic demand, shoring up that consumption and its use to decarbonize some hard-to-abate sectors, particularly be it your use in industry. You already are actually here in BC, your Tilbury bunkering facility is actually sort of at the forefront for ferries and early adoption here. This is going to be a thing. A lot of ships are going to be fueled by LNG in the future, and if Vancouver the reports can actually position themselves for LNG bunkering, I do see that as a strategic advantage. Now, you will not be able to rival Singapore in terms of the volume and in terms of the sheer traffic of ships that pass by there, but you absolutely can leverage it as the North America Pacific transit route, right? So, and also your ability to even store smaller parcels of LNG for Pacific Island needs. A lot of islands will need these smaller power plants, and they're not huge volumes. They can't sign these big volumes to underwrite huge LNG developments. But if the LNG project developers are nimble enough with the right ecosystem, you can actually capture this market, which I think has really great